Hello and welcome to our next spotlight session. I'm Cindy. I am the founder of this community, and we are here for our next spotlight session. I go live just about every Monday with a little bit of a spotlight on a certain topic that relates to our personal growth. And today we are talking about labels. We've been doing that for the last few weeks, and I think it's about a 10-week series. And today's label is Moody. So think about that one, Moody. And like I said, I'm Cindy, and I am coming to you from one of my favorite campsites. I'm here in my camper, and we're in East Point, Florida. And you may have experienced something similar, but the temperatures dropped over 30 degrees overnight. And it got really cold, and it's actually snowing in North Carolina where we live, and we're missing it. That's the only thing that I miss about traveling in the winter months is we don't get much snow in Murphy, and a lot of times when we do, we miss it because we're down visiting family and spending time in Florida, which we love. But before we go any further, I would like for us to do a little bit of an inner weather check. So I want you to think about what's your inner weather like right now. So, how are you feeling? Are you feeling calm? Are you feeling cloudy? Are is your weather changing? Are you feeling a little cold? Drop one word or two in the chat or in the comments if you're listening on YouTube, because this is going to be posted in YouTube. And so tell me, do a little bit of an inner weather check, get that thermometer out and see and share with us what you're feeling at the moment. What is your internal weather like right now? And we're going to talk for just a few minutes about when people use the word moody. Moody. What do they mean when they say you're being moody? Often they mean you're being unpredictable, you're being reactive, you're being hard to please. Any of that sound familiar sometimes? That you're being moody. And on the surface, it might look like that. It might look like you're being moody, so to speak. But you know what's actually happening underneath? It's sensitivity, not being too sensitive. It's sensitivity. So it's that natural rhythm that we all have for noticing energy shifts, emotions, and those quiet cues of life. And sometimes it gets misinterpreted as moody. But what it really is your soul whispering, something's changing. Pay attention. So let's talk for a minute about what happens when sensitivity speaks to you. Can you think of a time that your emotions alerted you to something before your mind could even name it? You just felt it. Maybe it was in a relationship or a job, or maybe boundary that, you know, some people are ignoring, or you yourself are ignoring. Think about a time when your sensitivity spoke to you, that inner sensitivity. So I want you to think about that. And then we're going to do a little bit of a reframe. So being moody could really mean that you're emotionally attuned. So you're emotionally attuned. And people who feel deeply often serve as like an emotional barometer, you know, just like the weather. When something's off in your environment, in your relationships, or maybe your schedule, your routines, you sense it before anyone else does. Maybe you're one of those people that are really sensitive. Your barometer is very accurate. And that's not instability, it's intelligence. So when your barometer shifts, it's intelligence, kind of like an emotional intelligence. That emotional sensitivity that is a clarity tool. When you know how to read it, it works really well. So, thinking about your sensitivity and how you're going to reframe it. So, harmony, neutrality, self preservation, those three things right there are essential to staying balanced in our inner seasons. So, learning to live in harmony, neutrality for when things aren't necessarily harmonious, and even being in that self preservation mode, not like overkill, but a constant reminder that our moods are messages, they're not problems. We start to find steady peace when we can treat our moods as messages. And even when things are changing, when things are chaotic, when things are not the way you expected them to be, you can find that inner stability, that inner peace by listening to those messages. So let's think about a label that you've been given that didn't tell the whole story. Something that happened to you recently or in the past that they made a snap judgment and that wasn't at all what was going on. But someone gave you that label, or maybe you gave that label to yourself. Like you said, you're being too sensitive, you're overreacting. Whether you say it to yourself or they say it to you, there is an opportunity there for you to reframe it, to show the strength that's underneath it. So think about some of those terms that you might use about yourself when you're feeling a little different. Things are not 100% even or harmonious. And in fact, it could be a little bit stormy in your life. And I want you to think about those emotions not as storms that you're trying to fix or, run away from, but seasons to understand. So, like I mentioned earlier, our temperature dropped 30 degrees in less than 24 hours here. It was just the season, it's the time of year. And it wasn't anything bad, it was just a shift. And sometimes we call things bad mood, not in a good mood today. I'm in a bad mood. I'm moody. I'm weepy, whatever you want to call it. But often it's really just an invitation to realign, to refocus, and just to give yourself some time. Give yourself some space. Be aware of your energy in the moment. So I'm curious, those of you who are listening, either live here right now, or maybe you're catching the replay, what helps you honor your changing energy instead of fighting it, or instead of feeling guilty or putting yourself down? Is it maybe going for a walk, walking out on the deck? That's what I like to do sometimes. Some people really enjoy listening to music during that time. And I have some in the coaching material that I use, I have some affirmations that are set to song. And that those are beautiful things for me to tap into when I feel my energy shifting. And maybe it's a few quiet breaths or prayer or scripture reading, whatever it might be that you can utilize that helps you feel, oh, I guess a little bit more stable and in control and more understanding, more compassionate with yourself. So let's just think about a small anchor moment, something that you can do, either you've done in the past that's been really helpful, or maybe something new, something different that helps you reset when your mood starts to shift. So I'd love for us to just fill the comments with ideas on things that we can do when our mood starts to shift without overreacting, by being a compassionate, tuning in, and checking on that inner weather system that's going on. So I'm just wondering, as we get ready to finish our chat today, if you've ever carried labels like moody, too sensitive, too emotional, um, too outspoken, whatever people might say. And if you've ever carried labels like that, and sometimes they trip you up a bit, then I'd love to invite you to join us for our next Clarity Challenge. It's a free 90-minute experience where we explore how to turn those labels and triggers into clarity tools. And throughout this session, you'll learn to, you'll leave it with one clear focus and really just kind of a fresh confidence that you can navigate your inner seasons with peace and purpose. Because clarity, it does not come from controlling your emotions or trying to put a cap on it or trying to bury them. It comes from listening to them and honoring the shifts that need to happen in your daily life. So thank you for joining me for this spotlight session, and we will talk to you again next Monday. Bye-bye.